Morning everybody, happy Monday. Okay, I'm really pumped today. It's a new week, but also I have now made 47 videos in the last 8 or 9 weeks. It's just kind of crazy. I love it. I'm so excited that I've been sticking to my release schedule on the back of that 30 days of daily language diaries that we all did together. It's been crazy. And so I just want to start the week by saying cheers, cheers to you, cheers to consistency, great discussion and engagement. I'm so grateful for all of your support. So here's just, it's going to be a good week. Okay, so last week I made a video about the importance of breaks and play in learning languages. It was really interesting. I tried a new production format, you may have noticed, with different style of music, a lot more B-roll, almost more of a narrative rather than me just kind of speaking. And it was a really fun way to try to deliver a very concise message. Now, a cool thing is that since I was more concise and the video was quite short, I think it left a lot more room for interpretation from many of you watching. And so once the comments started coming in, it really allowed me to sort of deepen my own thoughts on the subject. Today, I really want to just revisit the topic of the importance of breaks and play, especially play when learning languages, because, this is something that I've been learning languages for 12, 13 years at this point. And, there are things that you learn when doing things for such a long time, and the mistakes that you make and the pitfalls that you run into. And I just think this is something that is so crucial for us to talk about in this community. I don't think many people are doing it. So today we're going to revisit how important it is to play with your languages. And I'm going to dive deeper into what I mean by that. And it's going to be great. I'm going to share some stories. Let's jump in on Monday. Okay, so one of the first comments that came in after I published that video was from Angel's Joker, who said, shouldn't studying a language actively be enjoyable? Shouldn't that be fun by itself? And already this got me thinking, because, I never said in my video anything about how studying languages is not fun. In fact, I actually said that I adore it. It's one of my favorite things to do in the world. And so this led me to think that this is a thing we should really talk about, because this is how burnout happens in life in general. It's the fact that some things are fun, right? That also require a break. And so if we think about starting a business or having a really meaningful project that you do for work, well, what often happens is that the work that you do is so enjoyable and so fulfilling and meaningful that it actually becomes very difficult to take a break. It becomes very easy to start doing that thing 7 days a week. And again, that is how so many people in this world burn out in life. Now, I'm not trying to be overly dramatic here. I'm just trying to make a correlation between, this idea that, we take breaks from things that are not fun, right? No, that's not the case at all. And so with languages, the reason why I think this is so important is that as you go on learning languages, and especially if you choose to learn more than one foreign language, it's so incredibly easy for you to never actually take the time to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Now, I'm going to give you a quick example from my own life, and I think this is a kind of a fun story. So anyone who's ever become able to read novels in a foreign language will probably know what I'm talking about, because it's so difficult to even describe the level of effort and time. I don't think I could even begin to count or estimate the hours I put in to becoming able to read French novels for pleasure, for enjoyment, with no dictionary, to just be able to open the cover of a new book and just read it for fun. I mean, it was just, the process was so grueling, and it was so, I would say, almost mysterious. I couldn't understand why it was so bloody hard to do, and it took me a long time. Now, one of the happiest moments in all my language learning experiences that I can remember was the time when I first read a French novel from end to end, from cover to cover, first page to last page, in a single sitting. Now, many of you may have had this experience in your native language. It's fairly common, I suppose. I remember being in school when I was younger and people saying oh, I read the whole Harry Potter book in the single weekend. And I used to think, I could never do that. I'm a very slow reader. I always have been. And so I never had that experience even in my native language, which is English. And so the first time I read a book in French, it was actually the novel Elle et Lui by Marc Levy. And it's a very special story. I would love to make a whole video just telling you. I even have photographs I took. I have videos from that evening. Honestly, it was a very emotional time for me. But yeah, I read a French novel in one night. I stayed up to like 2 or 3 in the morning, and the amount of work that it took to arrive at that level of skill in French, it's unbelievable. And I've pretty much almost not read any French novels ever since. There was a short period of time when I was living in Montreal when I did start reading the book Le Grand Môle again. I talked about that recently on this channel, one of my favorite novels in French, and I've never actually finished it. And so I did start reading it again for a short period in Montreal, and I got pretty close to finishing, still haven't finished it. But other than that, I have not read in French almost at all, and that was 4 years ago. Now, in my case, it's not just about studying languages. I've also been, I learned how to program and became a software developer, and I've been building Journaly, and I've been now learning data science and all these monumentally huge projects. The book that I wrote, these are all other things I was doing that I kept telling myself, well, I'm gonna sacrifice that enjoyment that I get from reading in French or reading in Spanish and so on. And I'll get back to it later. But I think for many, many people, I know some amazing polyglots and many more amazing language learners, it's so common that people work so hard to develop these skills and they just keep studying. They keep moving on to the next language. You get kind of addicted to this enjoyment. It is fun to learn languages, but it's so easy to look back 5-6 years later and realize I worked so hard to be able to enjoy Japanese movies or Korean TV dramas. I never do it because I'm so focused on learning more vocabulary or perfecting my knowledge of idioms or whatever it is, or just learning a new language. And it's even more common for polyglots. I'm guilty of this too, and it's something that I'm actively working on right now in my life. I think it's so important for us to set boundaries for ourselves. So again, when I say that it's important to take breaks from the project of studying languages, please watch that previous video if you haven't already to sort of understand what I mean by project. I talk about this idea that language learning is indeed a lifestyle and a daily habit, but learning a particular language is almost like a project. And so like I said, it's so important. And if I could go back, I think that is something I would do differently. That's one thing I've definitely learned over 12 years of doing this, that I wish I had made more time for reading in Spanish, or oh my God, I remember when I was diving into poetry in Italian. I still have a bunch of books over there, all Italian poetry books. I was starting to collect poetry from Latin America too, different authors, and oh my God, it's okay, right? We live, we learn, but that's why I'm trying to make these type of videos. I want to share with you the things that I would do differently and that I'm gonna now try to do differently moving forward. So as many of you will know, Journaly is on the edge of going into beta and then hopefully out into the whole wide world. I'll have an update on that in a few days from now. So that's a big project. But I am adamant that I must set boundaries for myself and I must make time to play and enjoy my languages, because I don't want to find myself 10 or 20 years from now and realize yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, now I can speak fairly well in 14, 15 languages. Okay, but why did I learn them? Well, I learned French so I could, go to France or other French-speaking countries, and yes, of course, engage with people. I don't do that either because I'm so busy working on projects. But I also wanted to read. Oh my God, I have the largest reading list of French books, podcasts, movies. Oh my God, there's so much that I wanted to do with French, let alone Spanish, Portuguese, German, Swedish, Mandarin Chinese. Now, I don't want that for myself. I don't want to look back in 10 or 20 years and realize that I haven't spent any time enjoying the fruits of all that hard work and that labor and the skills that I built up so I could do those things. And like I said, I know so many polyglots, so many great language learners. I don't think I know many people who really do make time to enjoy those things. So this is just me sharing my perspective on it. I would love to get your thoughts on it. Let me know if you think I'm wrong. Let me know what you think. I'm really curious, and I'm loving the continuous discussion with many of you. So thank you for the support. Monday, have a great day, great new week, and maybe make a little bit of time this week to do something fun and to play with whatever language you're learning, whatever skill level you have, and let me know in the comments what that will be. Okay, everybody, have a great day.